Hello beautiful people. Okay, after making my video yesterday about my festival experiences, my life lessons releasing and integrating has definitely carried on, stepping it up a gear, big time. There's no slowing down on this journey now. It's going to keep ramping it up until there's nothing left but just us in our power. So we need to stand strong in who we are. Be the chaos, not the chaos, be the stillness in the storm. But maybe be the chaos for a little bit as well. I just want to take a few deep breaths because I'm not very grounded, so maybe take some with me. Yeah, so what I want to talk about today is the divine feminine, and this divine feminine, divine masculine theme, trying to strike a balance, has been coming up again and again. It's a really big thing in society at the moment, because as we're reaching into our wholeness to become all that we are, we're embracing the archetypes of our individual essences in this body. So obviously in the higher realms we're a bit more balanced with the masculine and feminine, but here sometimes we come here to embrace that specific facet of being human and being the female or being the masculine, and all that entails, and the life lessons that it teaches us. And I'm feeling, especially just the last couple of weeks, that the divine feminine are really, really awakening now, really stepping into our power and starting to really share it with the world. And that's obviously incredibly exciting, because I'm seeing all these amazing role models, like amazing singers and like amazing twin flames having the courage to like really share their stories online and stuff, and amazing like way showers and light beings, and channeling free messages of the divine feminine as well. So all of these amazing beings that are really putting out there and being like, this is me shining in my full power, or at least trying to, are paving the way for the rest of us to say there's no more hiding, there's no more repressing, there's no more trying to be kind of meek in society and not rock the boat. It's time for me to be fierce, to be all that I am. And when I say fierce, I don't mean aggressive at all, but what I mean is to embrace the really deep power of being the divine feminine and creating in the way that we create, in our specific ways. And obviously with us stepping into our power, that can be a little bit intimidating to the divine masculine, I think. From some of the feedback that I'm getting, maybe some of the butting heads kind of thing occasionally, that I think it's a bit scary that perhaps men think, oh shit, they've woken up, they're not going to take any prisoners now, they're going to repress me down, and I'm going to be like, my masculine essence is going to be shut down and I'm going to be forced to be effeminate or something. And that's not the case at all, but it's just, I think men who aren't quite at that stage of awakening yet, they're just feeling that immense force coming up in society and just thinking, what the hell is this? This is powerful, and they're not quite sure what to do with that at the moment. So So I think being able to understand each other and understand our differences and our different ways of creating, our different ways of seeing the world are incredibly important, and having immense forgiveness and compassion and love for each other is really important, rather than placing any kind of blame or any kind of frustration that one team is doing something different to the other team. It's about taking your individual journeys, stepping into your own essences, and seeing where that takes you. And then once we've reached our own wholeness, we can then begin to bring that back together and to see how the divine masculine and divine feminine can work in partnership with each other in divine wholeness, not one giving into the other or the other one giving into the other. It's about giving each other space to create in the way that we create, and to support each other fully in our own way of supporting each other. So I think that's really exciting, and I think in terms of relationships, that's going to have a huge effect in how we treat each other in the future, because a lot of relationships at the moment are very dysfunctional, because it is a control issue of people trying to push against each other rather than meet each other in the middle. So yeah, with the divine feminine, a lot of what I'm coming up with at the moment is embracing all of the different facets and the different archetypes of what it means to be female, and and that includes a very different range of different beings. So it's, it starts with the very, very soft, feminine, loving, really nurturing, beautiful divine feminine that's kind of the mother, that's very compassionate and all loving, all accepting, like kind of Mother Mary, very pure and innocent. And for me, that energy that comes up for me is the like a sort of pink rose. It's like very, very soft. So that's the end scale of the divine feminine. And then at the other end is the very, very fierce divine feminine, like the Kali, the warrior goddess that takes no shit from anyone, that breaks down all barriers, that isn't afraid to speak their mind and to change the world, to make it a better place, and to call sorry, my battery's low. Basically to call bullshit on people. And that's not about controlling anyone, but it's just about, if someone's trying to control you, it's being able to put up that step in your own power and be like, no, not happening. This is my power. Go get your own. And you can do that in a very loving way, but also in a very, very grounded way. And I felt like I've had quite a lot of that coming to me, that kind of feeling like men are becoming attracted to me because of the light that I'm shining, and wanting to maybe own me, thinking that I'm some meek little lady that they can put in a box and look after, and that they can be the knight in shining armour that can come save me. And as the divine feminine, you can be very, very soft and gentle and beautiful and flowing and free, that sometimes people underestimate you hugely, and sometimes you need to remind them and actually be like, I have this very soft part of me because I feel safe to express that, but get on the wrong side of me and you won't get any further. You can try, but actually the divine feminine is far more powerful than it's been given credit for. And that's a beautiful feeling for us, to be in our own empowerment, that we're not the victim, we're not here to be saved, we're here to participate fully in this experience just as much as the masculine is. We're here in partnership to change this world, to make this world a better, more beautiful place. So don't be afraid to be who you are authentically. Don't let anyone tell you that you should be doing it this way is better than that way. I've had a lot in the past where people have said that my way of seeing the world or my way of creating is naive, basically insinuating that I'm weak, and that I'm not doing things in a straightforward way that's very masculine and getting somewhere, making progress. But actually sometimes in a language that they then understand, I need to say to them, actually I have 2 degrees, I'm writing a book, I'm doing all this inner work, I'm sharing with the world, I'm actually creating just as much as you're creating in terms of action, but I'm just doing it in a completely different way to you, and that's fine, and I accept the way that you do things just as equally. So sometimes you need to stand your ground and voice your opinions, just to stick up for yourself, but not in an angry way. Just this is my self-worth. This is who I am. I have a lot to share with the world, and I'm not going to keep quiet because you think that you're better than me in terms of your ego. And with those people, you need to just step down underneath the ego and see that divine soul that's shining through, that little bit of fear that's shining through, that's making them treat you in that way, and just send them unconditional love. Because we're all on this journey of awakening together, and we're all trying to face our ego, no matter how scary it is, and to let go of that. And sometimes you can get caught in those little traps of the ego for a while, and it's a necessary part of being able to do that. So yes, a lot of stuff coming up. What else am I going to talk about? Yeah, so I think at the moment there's a lot of stuff to do with like feminism, and that could be encompassing the divine feminine, but actually I think in some terms a lot of the feminism back and forth on the internet and stuff is actually very much a dysfunction of the feminine, that it's us blaming the masculine, saying, you're repressing me, you're not letting me live the life I want to live, you're not giving me the money or the prestige and everything. So it's quite a violent way of bringing about change, and it's actually quite a masculine way of bringing about change, ironically. And obviously the masculine's response to that has at first been to shut down and to say, okay, you do your thing, you be angry if you want to be angry, I'm going to disengage from that. So in some ways they've been reversing the roles and being the feminine and being the understated party, the quiet ones, and now they're rising back up and saying, no, that's enough, no more oppressing us. Actually, if you want change, we've got to meet in the middle here, and that's absolutely spot on, really. It's not a case of women are repressed in society and men have it all. In my response, a lot of my partners I've had in the past have found it incredibly hard to get work themselves. So there are in society there are a lot of imbalances between both genders, and it's about seeing and respecting both genders and how we can be equal together, how we can have freedom together, all human beings, not giving special privileges to one over the other. And obviously there are differences, so there do need to be some differences made to account for different things, like obviously women having children and stuff, respecting that that's an incredible and important part of society, and that we're not sponging off society because of doing that. So there do need to be some differences, but at the same time there needs to just be complete love, compassion and openness for both genders, for all beings, all races. No more pushing back and forth saying, no, actually we're better than you, you're better than me, because that's never going to end in peace, is it? We need to meet in the middle and to discuss and learn our differences and to come to an agreement. So being able to stand in our power means that we can say, this is who I am, this is who I am, and to come to that balance in between. And just my own journey with the divine feminine and coming into balance is that I grew up with 3 brothers, my brother and my 2 stepbrothers. Had a lot of shit. I think probably my stepbrother will be watching this. So yeah, I had quite a lot of trauma of being BB gunned and footballed in the face, and just, yeah, I had quite a tough time of it. So I kind of had to harden up to deal with that. And I feel that I have more of a balance between the feminine and masculine because of that. And the divine feminine for me at first was something that I struggled with, because I used to be much more of a tomboy in the way that I dressed and things, and I wasn't really very kind of like ladylike and girly and wearing beautiful dresses and things. That's only kind of come about more recently, probably in the last 3 or 4 years, whereas before that I was much more kind of tomboyish. And what has been coming up in terms of just my general spiritual journey at the moment as well, and being able to step into my authenticity of being exactly who I am and sharing who I am with the world, is that I was kind of feeling like, so why am I in this body? Why am I living this life? Why do I have this personality? Why am I feeling very earthy, earth-spirity, and wanting to be in the woods and to be very connected with nature at this time? What's this essence of me that I need to share with the world? Because I'm seeing other people, that are these beautiful divine goddesses, very tall and beautiful and ethereal, or beautiful blonde angelic beings, and sometimes I'm like, okay, so I'm this tiny, I've been born in this teeny tiny little body that makes me look like I'm 12 years old even though I'm almost 30, and why have I come into this, and why do I have this way of speaking with the world that can come across as being a little bit like an inner child, and very kind of excitable and enthusiastic. And what was coming to me is that specific facet of the divine is really important for me to share specifically. There are other people who are very, very graceful and share their message in a very, very grounded and beautiful way, which is just as valid. And then my way of expressing my message is just as valid, because people need to also see the very grounded, very real, very human experience of what it is to be going through this awakening, so that people don't feel alone, that people don't feel like, oh, that person's going through it because they're just this amazing goddess that's just nothing like me. So I feel drawn to letting down my barriers and to show people that actually everyone can experience this situation. It doesn't matter who you are. And for me, it kind of feels like I'm leading the underdogs, the renegades. I'm leading the people that have maybe been repressed by society, that maybe have low self-esteem, that feel like they're not good enough, that feel like they're not beautiful enough, that feel like their body isn't enough to step into all they are. So I feel like I'm here to lead the masses of the underdogs, the renegades, and to say that actually it doesn't matter how you look, like you're fucking powerful, your spirit is powerful, and you're going to change the world. It doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter what your message is, but you're here to be just as powerful as everyone else. And even like I've had some friends and people I've looked after who are like disabled, and that can be physically disabled, and also it can also sort of have speech impediments and all kinds of things. And some of those people have been so incredibly inspiring for me, because they're not broken. They've used what's seen as a disability, that's what they've come here to experience, and they've utilised it to their full potential to make a huge difference in this world, and to really share their message in an amazing way, and to really be listened to, because people see, okay, this person has maybe had a shitty lot in life, that they've been given a harder journey than the rest of us, and yet they've risen to the challenge so perfectly and so amazingly that they're incredibly inspiring. So I'm very grateful for all of the role models who have inspired me on this journey. As you can tell, I'm quite inspired. I'm like, wow, so inspired. Oh yeah, so one last thing is, so I've been having some kind of visions of the Divine Feminine, and one of the big ones that was coming up was Goddess Isis. I saw her the other day when I closed my eyes, and I just saw the Egyptian goddess with her outstretched wings, and I felt like I was having a kind of energetic conversation with her, that she was saying that the Divine Feminine is rising the mystical sacred knowledge, the Divine Feminine alchemy, the I don't want to say witches, I want to say, because that's such a loaded term, but kind of the I can't think, just kind of the sacred women who are able to create with their minds. They are able to bring in worlds to create energy, like the divine healers, and the women who make ceremony and hold space. Those archetypes are coming back to us, and the Divine Feminine ascended masters are coming to teach us those lessons of how to step into that. So it's incredibly exciting, like Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Isis, there's a lot of other goddesses, like Kali. All of these different facets are, if we're willing to listen to them, are here to teach us amazing, amazing lessons. So meditate and see what comes up for you, because the channels are open for that divine knowledge to come through now, and the divine wisdom of the universe is profound. There's some amazing lessons for us to learn. And with particularly what I found with Goddess Isis, I've always had a really, really profound love of ancient Egypt. I was absolutely obsessed with it when I was younger, and I just collected all kinds of trinkets and learned to write hieroglyphics and things. So I've always felt a resonance to that place. And so yeah, with ISIS, obviously at the moment with the rise of terrorism, I felt like she was incredibly sad and felt betrayed that her name was being used in vain to promote violence in the world, because ISIS is such a powerful goddess of so many different things, of compassion, of love, of magic and rebirth, and helping the dead journey into the underworld. So she's incredibly, incredibly powerful and very loving. So I feel like she feels quite betrayed that her name has been taken in vain. And she doesn't want that to be a blockage to be able to connect with her. So I think her message was that if ISIS as a name triggers anyone, just to put that aside for now and just to talk to her in a way that doesn't trigger you. So to connect with Isis as the goddess of all that is. Just find your own name, like goddess of the sacred or something that resonates with you, that allows you to have that deep conversation with her, away from the boundaries of what has been put up to try and stop you from having that divine conversation with the divine. The divine conversation with the divine. Fair enough. Yeah, so lots of amazing life lessons. And just one more thing as well that came up yesterday is I'm feeling a lot of power with the Native American culture at the moment as well. They're rising up to the task. Obviously, they're the ones who've initiated this awakening, the Rainbow Tribe, the prophecies of the condor and the eagle coming back together, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and the Western and the Eastern ways coming back into balance together. Obviously my name, Ayana, means forever flowering or eternal bloom in Native American culture. So I'm very blessed with that, and I feel a resonance with the Native American culture because of that. And when I did the ayahuasca ceremonies, I saw Native American tribal elders came and gave me this just a most amazing, beautiful healing, this amazing kind of purifying air coming through me as they were around me, which is very beautiful. And I started seeing that I had a past life as a Native American woman as well, which was incredibly beautiful, and seeing just the simplicity of just being together with your tribe and with the divine masculine, like living in balance together, in love together, embracing your divine facet, and not judging it. So obviously the culture back then, living in teepees and living very sacred with the ground, it was very different and very easy for them. Obviously not easy at all, but you know what I mean, it was different. Whereas now, with the rise of technology and society becoming so overcomplicated, we second guess ourselves a lot more rather than just stepping into who we are. We're constantly seeking validation of who we should be. So I would urge you to take a step back, spend time in the forest, spend time in nature, spend time by the water with the elements, and let Mother Nature teach you, because obviously Mother Nature is the divine feminine. Mother Nature is the one who is nurturing us. She is the one who is allowing us to be here at this time with her. She's allowing us to awaken with her. So we should be incredibly grateful that we're allowed to be on this journey with her. And spending time in nature, I'm feeling my connection with her increasing every single time that I'm feeling like she's this old friend that I never felt it before, and suddenly I'm like, oh, where have you been? I've missed you. How lucky I am, how grateful I am to be able to be on this earth with you. Thank you for giving me like these beautiful gifts of abundance that allow me to be here with you at this time to assist in your ascension and your awakening, and being open for you to help me in my own awakening. And I did this amazing meditation the other day, the unity breath meditation, bringing in the Mother Earth and Father Sky into my body, into balance, divine balance. And obviously that's the divine masculine and divine feminine in its purest, most beautiful energy forms. And in that state you just feel universal bliss and oneness. It's so beautiful. So let go of the drama, let go of the control, let go of the fears, and realise that there's nothing to be afraid of in connecting the divine masculine and feminine back together again. There's nothing to be afraid of, because actually when you get to that state of wholeness and unity, it feels so incredibly pure and beautiful. There's no control either way, there's no pushing, there's no pulling, there just is, just complete oneness. And that's incredibly beautiful. And that's where we're going, so I'm very excited. So that's quite a long video. I'm sorry I chatted for so long, but as you can tell, the divine feminine is really a huge subject at the moment that's coming through. And I'm just going to very quickly pick an angel card to just bring this in. So what does the divine feminine and the divine masculine want to share with us today? And I hope it's not going to be a completely random card that doesn't make sense. I'm sure it will. Divine order. That couldn't be more perfect if it tried. Archangel Raguel. Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see the underlying order. That's so incredibly spot on. Couldn't be more spot on. I'll just read the rest of that. I don't really know Archangel Raguel. I haven't really looked into them. I will do that in a minute. Here we go. Oh, 10% battery remaining, so it's a good job. It's going to cut me off if I carry on talking, and I'm sure I won't for much longer. So it says, Divine Order, a win-win situation is brewing, one with solutions that are fair to everyone involved. This requires you to have blind faith that heaven is working behind the scenes to extract the highest good for all. Ask me to buoy your faith if it wavers. Use positive affirmations and prayers to keep your spirits high. Above all, make sure that your conversations about this situation involve positive and optimistic words and phrases. You're so powerful that your positive thoughts can speed the resolution along even quicker. That's so incredibly spot on, isn't it? That's amazing. Oh, the synchronicities from the universe just blow me away sometimes. They're so amazing. So, just one more breath together before I finish. So just breathe in. Just feel your heart space. Just feel that divine love that you are. Feel the divine oneness that you are. And feel in this moment that you're connected to Mother Earth, that beautiful, soft, sacred feminine feeling that feels so nourishing and beautiful and soft and just loving. And feel the divine masculine, the light, the spirit, the pure witnessing, that just beautiful strength and clarity, seeing you as you are and loving you for exactly who you are. Let both of those beautiful energies intermeld within you. And in that melting pot of oneness, just know that you're home. And breathe. And that's the end of my talk. It turned into more of a lesson than any of the others, surprisingly. I didn't know I knew so much about the Divine Feminine, but obviously all of these lessons are part of who we are. We know intuitively all of these lessons. We don't need to be taught it by other people. It's just, as I talk my truth, it reminds you of your truth, and you realise that you knew it all along. So lots and lots of love. Keep working your beautiful magical light and being exactly who you are.